Hello everyone and welcome back to Accidental Ascension 4A, in which we are playing as Nazca, and the war against Airmore is getting pretty grindy, not making particularly good headway. We're just going to go ahead and go straight to the strategic map. As you can see, we have mediocre success every time we have Malky die and come back again. It means that it's sort of meh for us. And the first thing we can see is right here, exactly what I was saying at the end of turn 17 could happen, did happen, and that is that we got busted into by his blessed sacreds, and they caused a rout, which honestly we didn't even really have that many guys here to begin with. But they routed and retreated into nowhere because 24 Hatun Runa Axemen were not enough to break a PD dump that he threw down here. So not super great. We lost a Bane to the retreat. The Inca is the guy who died and is now another. Do I say another? I think this is actually the first one. The first, yeah, the first Malky that I lost. So when you lose an Inca, they become Malkys, Royal Malkys, which I think I've said in another video, and they get the paths that they died with if you don't have a Koya. Because then they don't get the Koya's paths added on to their Malky bundle. So they're kind of like discount Royal Malky, except for they cost the same in terms of upkeep. So pretty lame there. Raiding continues. This is actually a pretty big hurt on our income for a turn because we're immediately going to take it back now. We're just throwing everything we have at here, and I think these crossbows will do quite a bit to actually be able to hit whatever he gets here. If he does a PD dump there, I don't think that he'll succeed in being able to repel that we're sending in here. We're also moving out with some skeletons in order to beef up our front line, and then we're site searching this direction instead of that direction this turn. Barbarians here. I don't remember if I saw that or not in a previous video, or if that's this turn. Anyways, I see that and I just sort of ignore it, and Mictlan will take it back eventually. Now this is the time when Sauromatia, coming to the aid of General Confusion, gets counterattacked by Jotunheim, and Jotunheim is pummeling him and taking his forts and everything. So not doing super great for him. At some point during this war, I do mention, hey, you know, can I, we have a nap, but can I end that and just sort of take this instead? And something along those lines. I think right now I sort of am just letting them fight and ignore it, but I know that this is a valuable province and I would like it, so oh well. Pangea has also moved in and taken these provinces from Sauromatia as well, so that he's getting ganked and getting killed. Ashdod is pushing in as well. He's got a pretty big stack here. I mentioned to him that I want, we do discussion at some point, and I tell him I want this, and I think this maybe in the war. Or maybe I let him have it, I don't remember. But I tell him that he can take that. But then over time I say, you know what, I kind of suck at life at taking this fort, so maybe you can take it eventually. So for right now, he's going to be sort of carving out the southern half of the land of Airmore, and I'm carving out this eastern half here. And because his army is sort of, Airmore's armies are sort of tied up over here, he doesn't really have a whole lot that can raid back my lands. He attacks here, but 6 PD is enough to repel this, and whatever he did to attack here, I have no problems with clearing out there. I think I'm out of my air gems though, because I kept using one air elemental to boost my rating and take all those provinces from him. So we're just going to consolidate back here into a pretty significant force to just sort of put pressure on his capital and also take resources away from him. Aside from that, we're just spamming out Incas as much as they can be spammed out. Crossbows and Hatun or Huron priests here as well. And for the time being, that's about it. We've got the Renegade Sage still. Other than that, no mercs. And then research is still pretty low, pretty down in the dumps. So we're just going up conjuration to get full-sized elementals. So that's where we're at. And we'll go on to turn 19. Now, as you can see, I've got the last turn up here from the game. So I'm still in the game, and this game is still running, so we're in turn 76 at this juncture. So it's going to be a while if you guys power through these videos, and I know it takes me a while to upload them, so that's my bad. But we'll get there. We'll get there together at some point. Satis needed a new prophet. That would be late age Satis, I believe, if I recall correctly, who is either at my border. Yeah, he's at my border because I've been raiding Airmore. So let's take a look at the events, which I should have done last turn as well. But lose Dominion, which is kind of hard since our Dominion is so low to begin with, and we get some gems, so that's pretty sweet. And then we'll just take a look at the strategic situation right now. We counter raid here with no problem. He probably saw my army and decided not to PD dump, which honestly I don't think, yeah, there's not particularly good PD here. Like here, there's Amazon, so he might have PD dumped. Here I know there are knights, so I'm throwing a pretty significant force as well as some fire elementals into this one to clear that off. And here I'm also putting my own PD dump, which I'm sending a couple of other guys to, no, I'm not, C, no, Y, yeah, so Y means who's moving in here, T means who is in here right now, if you press that on your keyboard. So I'm not actually moving anyone in here. This is mostly just to break up his, whatchamacallem, his, gladiators, if he sends them here to make him spend gladiator turns. Airmore is actually pretty successfully counter-raiding against Ashdod over here, so he's kind of gotten himself bottled in here, and I think he's going to withdraw from that, even though he's got a pretty significant army here. He can probably not siege this fort down particularly quickly. I'm also raiding out over here, because this is a pretty high gold income province. And then yeah, so that's basically it. Right now I need to keep track of where his equites are, because that's the army killer, as in my army killer. I can't engage those with just stacks of like 40 Hatun Runas, because they will all die and I will kill like maybe one of his equites. So I need to keep track of where those are. They were here last turn clearing me off, and now they're either here or here. So just keeping that in mind in terms of where I move and where I raid. So right now I'm just sort of leaving this part of the world alone and just focusing on this half. Mercs, I decided to continue the bid here. Research, we've got Conjuration 4. We're getting just more guys in order to bolster our forces, and we're consolidating a pretty significant force here as well. And then we'll just swing it down. Eventually I want to plop onto his capital and lock that down so that we can cut off that production source right there. Again, slow turn. It's back and forth. I mean, I'm not making serious headway, but I am pushing back against his rating, and he's not pushing back into my lands again anymore. Ashdod has pretty significantly helped in that regard, I think. All right, turn 20. Alright, events, gems, good. We lost some gold, more gems, and some more Dominion, unfortunately. This one is a more permanent one. We actually have to patrol or preach in order to get rid of it, and I probably won't. The sage left for Utgard, so the little gold that we spent has been refunded to us. And our income is not actually terrible right now, especially since we're getting these high gold income provinces back. So here we hit his PD dump and we lost a significant portion of Hatun runas, and the rest of them retreated, but we didn't actually lose any more in the retreat, so that's good. And here we took this province, which he decided not to put PD into. We picked up the retreats from there, and we'll pick up from there as well the guys that have retreated. We're putting in a pretty significant number of guys here. 80 more Hatun Runa, which again, if I lose a battle, they still all rout, so it looks like a lot. It's not actually that much. He does counter raid here with some Hastadas, but because we PD dumped with barbarians, we do a significant damage to him. And we've actually put 15 PD in all of these provinces just to sort of keep that from happening on a regular basis, or forcing him to commit more troops to counter raid. And we're going to take that back pretty easily with this group here. We're actually getting a pretty substantial number of Supayas now, because we've got this guy who died and became a Supaya summoner, and we've got our original prophet as well. Now he's just spending all his money on these gladiators, so that's going to be irritating. And I think scout, if I see a scout, that means he's probably building a palisade there, which, you know, go for. I don't know, he's not going to be able to stop me from just dropping in a stack of Hatun Runa at some point, or Supayas, and just clearing that out immediately. So if he doesn't put like an actual army here, that's 600 gold down the drain. So there you go. Ashdod decided this was not something he was willing to fight over, so he left immediately, and now we see where the Equites are. There's still 14 of them left, so that's where his army moved off to. We're just leaving the scout there as well. What else? What else? What else? See, it's kind of slow turns. Kind of slow turns while we're just sort of teching up and counter raiding. Just getting more Incas, more crossbows, and more Hatun Runas. And those are our turns, until we can deal with this somehow in some significant way of being able to get on his capital and lock down production there. Let's move on. Turn 21. Exit. Alright. Now this is interesting, because Northia we were counter raiding into, and he did a PD dump there as well, but to no avail. But also Satis decided to move in here as well, and actually Satis did a little bit more damage to me and caused a rout of our remaining Hatun Runa as well. And so yeah, I mean, he volunteered himself to get in on this partitioning of Airmore, and I was like, dude, don't do that. This is my land. I claim it, and you contributed nothing to the war, so stay out of it. And I believe my exact words were, don't get greedy. So he did not. He left me in peace for the time being, and I have locked down this area for now. So we're continuing the raid into here. This is a cave province, but our Supaya should have no troubles there. And I don't think that he put in PD as well. So it looks like Ashdod's army has moved up there, and I suspect that the Equites have moved here. What's this here? Okay, we're moving a force here, and we're moving like one of the largest armies we've ever assembled here. If nothing else, this may just cause him to panic and patrol with his armies, which means that he will not be sending them out to raid and stuff like that. Now, the PD dump did as I said it would, which is cause his Retariuses to get killed or cause them to fight in the battle and then disband because they're gladiators. So there's only 3 of them left here. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure which, because gladiators are, how much are they? Airmore. Gladiators cost 10 gold. So that's 220 gold, and this was 14 PD, so I don't think it was 220 gold. And he's got about, say, 3 left here, so let's say we cost him 190, 200 gold. I think we came out on top with that gold exchange there. And our income is significantly boosted by the lands we've taken of his, and he is probably pretty hurting from income. So yeah, we're watching the battles in Sarmatia as well, Sarmatian's area. He's got a lot of long dead horsemen, and he's still got his pretty strong cataphracts as well. So he's holding on slightly, but he is getting pushed back and double teamed, so it's not particularly long for him. I say that, and yet, spoilers. So yeah, we're going to move here and here. Our research is going to get us, it pains me to see this, Conjuration 5 in 4 or 5 turns. So yeah, sweet. Well, we still can make lesser air elementals, and lesser air elementals do a good enough job at trampling little human-sized people. So as you can see, we've got a lot of air elementals here. We've got yeah, just from that for right now, we're gonna spread them out amongst him and him for the time being. We're still getting more Incas. Incas are our go-to for right now. And yeah, sorry, it's kind of, I'm sure it's kind of dull for you guys to watch this, so you can imagine the pain that it was going through trying to have to deal with this and figure out how to fight gladiators with dirt income and poor bless Nazca. So yeah, there you have it. Let's get on to the last turn, turn 22, and then we'll wrap up this video. Alright, turn 22. We decided to get another Bane because Banes are at the very least good at leading around our undead. Events, we lose population, Dominion change, geez Louise, Earth gems, and more Dominion. That's probably actually from the event. So yeah. And we're actually starving here because we have such a massive non-skeletal army that that this is just has not enough supplies to sustain us, because both my scales and Airmore scales are all just death. So no supplies for you. So we're actually moving the majority of that army over here because this has more food in it. We successfully raid in here. Not much PD there to speak of. He counter raids us here, and we cause him to lose all of his gladiators, which is fine by me. I do not know right now where his equites are. They might be pushing out over in this general direction. Ashdod's army, I have not seen which direction they have gone either. But yeah, there's a lot of gladiators all over the place. We are also going to send a force over in this direction. Now I don't see the scout anywhere there anymore, so he might have given up on that palisade idea. So yeah, we're moving a pretty substantial force here, but honestly, if he moves like literally anything in here, all these Hatun Runa are just going to run away, and so we're going to have to go pick up whoever decides not to abandon the army anymore, because honestly my army is consisting of slaves, and if they rout from a battle without a commander leading them, you're not particularly surprised to figure out that a number of them have deserted and decided to live a life of non-slavery in the army anymore. So frankly can't say I blame them. I can't say I blame them for their life choices. But it is frustrating as a war commander, you know, trying to prosecute a war against hated Airmore and having all of your soldiers run away. So skeletons are much more reliable. There you go. I'm just making more skeletons. And we're moving the Bane out here. Now actually long term we decide, well, not very long term, we decide, hey, this water province is unoccupied and that water province is unoccupied. If we have a Bane, we can just move him in there and take that water province. Easy peasy. Unfortunately, I did not actually read the scouting report to see that there are trolls and krakens in here. All I saw were tritons, and I was like, that should be easy to take with just skeletons. Spoilers, it is not. Anyways, that's the current state of play right now. We are making gains, and the counter rating of Airmore has been adequately crushed, and it's just a matter of time before we decide we have significant force buildup in order to drop onto Airmore's cabinet. Now at this point also I do notice something pretty significant, which is that I have literally 2 forts. And so I'm like, I should rectify this, and I should rectify this in a place where I can recruit crystal sorceresses. So I decided to do that. We're going to build crystal sorceresses here, and really, let me see, crystal sorceresses just need a lab, so we should have really built just a lab, but I think A, we don't have the gold for it, and B, our Dominion is garbage. We could very, very easily just get Dominion killed at this point if anyone was like sort of serious about that. So yeah, we decide to build a temple there instead. Palisade in 3 months, and then we can get more mages, whether it be crystal sorceresses or whether it be more Huron priests, because honestly I think Huron priests are pretty much our go-to battle mages for everything in life. So that's where we're at right now. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next episode.